Welcome back to another episode of What's Trending This Week. And this week, you need to remember these buzzwords: Republic Day, Mahindra versus farmers, railways versus students, markets, and Ukraine. Between these 5 topics, you'll be sorted as far as any conversation about current affairs goes. All right. Beginning with Republic Day. Yes, it was Republic Day in India this week, the 73rd Republic Day. We saw the tableau. We saw all the states represented in full glory. It was a good day, all the flag hoisting, etc. And everybody was most excited about one particular lady, Flight Lieutenant Shivangi Singh. She's all of 26 years old, and she is India's, I think, youngest and only female Rafale jet fighter pilot.
And so
she was
on the tableau, the Air Force, the Armed Forces tableau, which was pretty cool. She's part of, it seems, the Golden Squadron, which is an elite squadron within the Indian Air Force. And obviously her training must have started as soon as the Rafale jets came. She's clearly one of the first group of pilots to start training on it. So it was pretty cool. She was there giving the salute. What was actually also pretty cool was that Anand Mahindra, who comments on all these things, said, yes, more power to you, etc., etc. You are our Rafale Rani. And I'm saying, what a cult phrase that is. Rafale Rani
is a cult
absolutely
phrase.
Cracks it. Well
yeah,
done,
and also
well
Republic Day had other cult figures who are not Indians who were trending, because PM Modi basically wrote letters to a lot of foreigners who have a deep connection with India, including Chris Gayle and Jaunty Rhodes. And they were like, oh wow, we're quite touched that, Prime Minister Modi will include us in the Republic Day celebrations of India. And of course, your country means the world to us. And also everybody was very excited, especially with Jaunty Rhodes, because everyone knows Jaunty Rhodes has named his daughter India after the country. And Chris Gayle sent everybody enough love from the universal boss. But basically, in Chris Gayle language, I think he meant a happy Republic Day. And of course, 128 Padma awards were given out. Unfortunately, also on Republic Day, burning trains were trending because students were very, very upset with the railways. Now, what happens is, you know how there are government jobs, and then there are those exams that you take, and then there are many, many people who apply for very, very few jobs because everybody wants a government job and the security and the money and the pension and all of that. So the railways hold these exams for the NTPC, which is basically non-technical popular category. 35,000 jobs, over 1.25 crore people applied, and then finally some 60 lakh people came and took the exam. Now they're upset because they said the results that have been declared are faulty because one person has been placed in some 2-3 different jobs. So clearly there's something wrong. Also, the railway said, and there'll be test 1 and test 2, which apparently was not told to them back in 2019 when these particular exams were declared. And so the students are angry, and the students are like, this is not fair. And when it's not fair, what do we do? And you're not listening to us, and we're trying to protest and tell you what our problems are. Okay, for attention, we will stone trains and we will even burn one, which is never a good idea.
This whole destruction of public property as a form of protest, it's mind-blowing that they do that. I mean, is it that the government is not paying enough attention, so this is the only way to pay attention if we start a fire? Or whether this is just a thing to do because we like to be violent? It's just absurd. But anyway, the government has taken cognizance of it. They have said, look, please just calm down. We'll try and figure this out. What they've done is that they've said, please give us your grievances, for which they have issued an email address. An email address has been issued saying you have till mid-Feb to write out all your grievances. Then we will put together a 5-member committee, because these 5-member committees do very well.
Yeah.
And those those grievances will be addressed, and you will know by March. Now, I don't know whether they're going to sit tight till March or there'll be further protests, further violence. We don't know, but that's what's going to happen.
And that was a reason why a burning train was trending on Republic Day. But while we're on Republic Day and Anand Mahindra, Rafale Rani, we're very impressed with him. But what we're not impressed by is the treatment that was meted out to a farmer in Karnataka. His name is Kempe Gowda, and he was trending because it is straight out of a film scene, isn't it, Jaggu? That to an 80s film.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was that he's gone to a Mahindra showroom in Karnataka. So this gentleman, Kempe Gowda, he wanted to buy a Mahindra pickup truck. He walked in. I'm guessing he was dressed in a particular way. I don't really know, and it really shouldn't matter. But it seems the salesperson there, or salespeople, smirked at him, scoffed at him, and said, it doesn't even look like you have 10 rupees in your pocket. You come to pick up a 10 lakh pickup truck. Don't be funny. They said, they challenged him. If you can get 10 lakhs and put it on the table, we'll give you the truck right away. He went. In 30 minutes, he came back with 10 lakhs cash. and his entourage and his peeps put it on the table and said, give me my truck. They could not give him the truck. There's a waiting list for that truck. I mean, if you're going to throw some kind of a challenge, then you jolly well make sure, and you're going to insult someone, you jolly well make sure that you are in a position to put up your end of the bargain. They could clearly not. Anyway, cops were involved. They have apologized. A written apology has been
and it went viral. Yeah, it went viral.
It went viral. It was in the news. On social, though, it came only, and then it went on to the news. Anand Mahindra has been tagged in it. Now, there is something called Mahindra Rise, which is the core philosophy of the Mahindra group. And he's saying the whole point of it is for people to rise. That's one of the core values. And anything that goes against that will be dealt with urgently. So, he's aware of the matter. It's sad that in this day and age that something like this had to happen. We probably haven't heard the end of it, but let's see how it works out.
I have a feeling right now there are many script writers busy writing a script about the farmer versus like rich people, and you would think that plot belongs to the 70s and 80s, but no, it is still relevant in 2022. The hero may or may not be called Kempe Gowda. Okay, moving abroad, we're going to take it to Ukraine. You've been seeing Ukraine, Russia, America, Biden. What is happening? Is war going to happen or not? So, okay. NATO, you're familiar with NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is basically after World War II, North American countries as well as some European countries came together and said, never again will we be alone in a war, and we will come together for security purposes, political as well as military. And that bunch of nations has now become 30 members, and there are 3 other countries that are about to join. One of them happens to be Ukraine. Now, Ukraine is Russia's pet peeve because Ukraine used to be part of the USSR. Okay, 91 mein jab USSR split hua, at that point Ukraine also went on its own and said, I am now my own country. And Ukraine has always been more inclined towards the West versus towards Russia. So when Ukraine...
Now, there is some politics over there, right? Because at some point about 8-10 years ago, Ukraine had a president that was veering towards Russia. Ukrainians themselves had a problem with that, so they basically overthrew him. And now Ukraine is back wanting to get into NATO and more aligned with the West. In the meantime, Russia believes that Ukraine is part of Russia because it was part of the USSR, Russian Empire, this, that and the other. They annexed Crimea a few years ago. And they seem to be supporting a separatist movement that's happening in the east of Ukraine. So there is a bunch of history and politics that is already involved here. In the meantime, what Putin has gone and done is amassed 100,000 Russian troops at the border between Russia and Ukraine. And that has set off red flags like you will not believe, which is what the current problem is.
Yeah, because if you have such a big military buildup on your borders with another country, the other country is obviously going to say, hello, are you going to attack me? And because Ukraine is almost a part of NATO, the NATO countries are like, what are you doing? You can't be doing this war in our background. Russia is saying, of course not. Obviously, we're not going to start a war. This is for our own security because of issues in Ukraine, and secondly because NATO has been doing some military drills in the area which is very close to our country. But our basic demand is that Ukraine must never be allowed into the NATO, which is a bit of a random demand to make. Yeah, like Ukraine, NATO, Russia kidhar se aaya? But anyway, America has said, no, who are you to say this? The European nations are saying that, but in a more diplomatic manner. Currently, in reply of the demands of Russia, the NATO countries and the US have written back their stern answer, which none of us know is what, because they said some things you have to leave for diplomacy and it's for Putin's eyes only. So as of now, there seems to be no war. Hopefully, there will never be a war, but this has to be watched because not only are people's lives being affected, but the markets are being affected, Jaggu.
Yes, in quite a spectacular way. And that's the other thing we want to discuss, that, look, markets have been rallying ever since March 2020 when COVID hit and the markets absolutely tanked. Once they started recovering, it's just been this fabulous bull run for close to 2 years now. Now, what has happened is a couple of things. Okay, there's the US Fed. Which is like the US version of the RBI. It says that the US Federal Reserve has far more power, as it were, because they control the dollar, and the dollar
affects the world. Yeah,
absolutely. So what they have been saying, this is not like new, but they have been saying for some time now that, look, inflation has gone up, the economy is starting to get back on track in a sort of post-COVID phase. What we're going to do is that we're going to start raising interest rates, and this whole liquidity that we've been pumping into the markets because of COVID and all, we're going to have to start slowing it down and reduce our balance sheet. They've been saying that. Now, So the markets are tanking because of that, because higher interest rates means that money will flow towards interest-bearing instruments and will come out from the stock market. That's a very simple, basic way to look at it.
Very simple, Jaggu, very simple.
Very simple. It's far more complex, but let's just give it in one line. Okay, so interest rates going up is a situation. As of a day or two ago, they said March onwards is when this is going to start. In the meantime, markets have been panicking. Now, they ended December at a bit of a high, right? But over the last 1 month, we've been seeing that they've been coming down. So literally, Indian markets in the last 1 week have come down 5%. From the peaks, India and US is probably down some 7, 8, 9%. So everybody's taking a bit of a hit. And just because the market is coming down, the big market, the big number is coming down, that means individual stocks could be getting battered even more. Like tech stocks in the US has been a full-on party, and like they've been collapsing. And therefore, the billionaires index is going absolutely bananas.
Yeah. So whether or not you invest in the stock market, whether you're like a day trader, or you've been sitting on it saying, "Baad mein, when everything corrects and all, that's when I will book my profit and all," you will be pleased to know, because most of us do not like the idea of the billionaires in the world, growing richer and richer, especially during the pandemic when the rest of us have lost jobs and gone poorer and poorer. But because of this current January market going downwards, the billionaires collectively, the top 10 billionaires in the world, have lost billions and billions of dollars. And Elon Musk has, I think, up some 27-30 billion he has lost. He's now the richest man in the world still. Jeff Bezos and all of them seem to have lost money except for apna Warren Buffett. And
for the time being, yes.
Yeah, because he is the wise one, and he seems to know what he's doing. But bottom line, the markets have been trending because of, going down because of Ukraine, because of oil prices, and because mood, Jaggu.
No, because of the US Fed and what they're going to do with interest rates. That's one of the biggest reasons. So look, there is the markets, there's the Ukraine crisis, there is burning trains, all of that is there. But some things must be able to distract. Some things must be able to bring joy. Some things are just good for the soul. Let me present to you pink unicorns. Now, here's what we found. It's trending in some parts. Now, in the US, Northern Europe, there's a bunch of snow, right?
Yeah.
Now, if it's snowing, Shimla mein there is snow, yaar.
There is snow in the world right now, Jaggu. Huh?
Now, the snow has to be cleared.
Yes.
Does it not? So, your own pathway, your own footpath, you have to be able to get your car out. So people do that. They shovel snow, they push it out of the way, or they use snow blowers. One gentleman in the US decided to be very kindly. Not only did he resolve his own pathway issue, his own footpath, but also his neighbors. The point is, which is a good thing to do. The point is, he did this while wearing a pink unicorn outfit. And that is what brings joy to the world, I tell you. I tell you, it is fabulous.
Hopefully, the pink unicorn brought a big smile on your face. And if you'd like to put that big smile on our face too, remember to like this video. Please talk to us in the comments, or talk to us about the stories we just told you about. Have matters become clearer in your head because of our explanation? Have we confused you a little bit more? Talk to us. Also, remember to subscribe to our channel. Also, turn that bell icon on. Do not miss a single episode, and share with fellow Mad Hatters. And most importantly, double mask up and stay safe. For Jaggu and Tarana, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye, butterfly.